We are good.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
We are live.
We are live. All right.
So, how do we want to start this podcast, William?
I want to start this podcast.
Something that's relevant. Something that our viewers
Want to listen to.
Yeah.
First off, guys, I want to say the name of our podcast. I think it is actually good that we get it cleared out. I think it should be Mission Manhood. I think we should make the decision that we're naming this Mission Manhood, and our mission is manhood.
Gotcha. That sounds like a good idea. Yeah, I came up with the idea of that name a while back, like a year ago, and I created a YouTube channel with that name, but I just only made one video, basically explaining like, oh yeah, this is Mission Manhood, and I'm gonna make videos that maybe not inspire, but like relate to other young men who are trying to find their way in life.
Okay.
So anything from finance to fitness to faith and anything in between that, really, that has a meaningful meaning.
Having anything on the journey of becoming a better man.
Yeah.
So this might be a little bit gender specific for
all you
gender
ladies,
specific.
click off now.
All right, I like that to be on one of our first episodes. So actually, I don't know the full story. So what gave you like the name actually Mission Manhood of deciding it?
I don't know. I think it might have been something to do with maybe watching Mission Impossible movies, and I was thinking like life. I don't know. I went through this stage of kind of like, I'm on a mission, kind of like you watch a bunch of Jocko Willink stuff, a bunch of Navy SEAL stuff, and they're always on a mission. And so you kind of coined this. When I instead of writing a to-do list, I would write mission, and every day I would have a different mission name for my to-do list. It'd be like Mission Alcatraz, Mission Go Hard, Mission this. Every day it'd be a different mission. And so, and then I was just thinking of for a name for a YouTube channel. I guess it just came to me. I was like, what about Mission Manhood? Because I'm on a mission to finding true manhood. So
that's not exactly a one-day mission right there. That's not.
No, it's not.
Mission Alcatraz or whatever.
Yeah, I don't. Those are just. I don't know. I like coining different mission names just on the fly each morning as I write a list. So
yeah, and I know I did the same thing. I would be like, okay, I would do something very similar, but I was at a younger age. I'd be like Mission Lone Wolf, and I'm always the guy against the world, and I have to save everybody.
Yeah,
and I mean, why? I think the reason we find that actually very heroic is because it's like. The mission is for a hero.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's kind of where I got it from, though. I don't know exactly what like I said, it could be anything from fitness to faith, but I think it's going to be it's not going to be really like an entertainment channel, like clickbait.
No.
Like, it's not going to be anything like Mr. Beast or that kind of style of content. It's gonna be more real.
In a way, we're hoping almost to tell people to take a step back.
Yeah.
From the direction we're going. Because as a young people, we know, we kind of can see where society is going. Yeah. Maybe not the best, we're not the wisest at all.
No.
But we have a general idea and we can see what's happening. And we see a lot of negatives that are coming out from people like that. Mr. Beast, that all they care about is getting another view, setting the record of, instead of Will Smith having the most viewed video for slapping Chris Rock, he wants to get the most video for showing off a $100 million home. And we talk about this all the time, about making videos more clickable, making more dopamine hits. And we believe that's making people less than they currently are.
Yeah.
Because they're becoming enslaved to something, the need to watch it, the need to get that dopamine hit. And so we're hoping we can, in some way, claim back some independence, or what we think of a little bit of self-control, which makes a man. Self-control.
Yeah. And it's not going to always be like, some of our videos might be in a podcast form, and some of them might be more in a like I don't know, a bullet point YouTube video style thing, like, on one topic, like, hey, I tried doing the carnivore diet for 2 months, and I might make a video on that, or William might make a video on something else specific to what he did or he's going through or something like that. So it's not going to always be one format. It could be various formats.
Yeah, we want this podcast to be, I think, extremely relatable, right?
Yeah.
And we want to recognize the fact that we don't have the answers necessarily,
Yeah.
but we know what the answer is. As Christians, we know that is Christ, and we're always heading that direction, closer to be with him. And so I kind of want this to be like a journey that we all go on. I know that's a very cliche thing. People say, go on the journey with me as I achieve this thing. But we realize that there's a lot of people like us, people that are searching for answers, searching to be a better person. Yeah. And we do know what the ultimate source is, but we do want to bring you on the journey with us. So
Yeah. So welcome.
welcome.
So I guess that's probably the gist of everything.
Yeah, that's our intro. I don't know if anything's. We have this idea that we want a couple things to be a couple clicks just to get some people interested. I don't know if that's going to be necessarily any clicks.
You know, for the first couple podcasts, I don't know. This doesn't have to be super interesting.
Doesn't need to be super interesting. We just need to get content out
You can
here.
always throw highlights from like the middle of the podcast.
Exactly.
And, roll the intro.
Okay.
So.
But we do actually have a little bit of a theme or something that we should at least try, because I think it relates a little bit to this day and how we're feeling. And I think that's time management.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
How you spend your time each day, what you make your priorities. Yeah.
So I don't know if people can relate to this. I know you can. The first thing I did this morning when I woke up is I immediately, well, actually, it's a little bit different. This morning I realized my phone was dead. Mm-hmm. And that honestly like you initially feel like a little part of you left for a second, if I'm going to be real, because I'm like, I don't have that thing to immediately turn on to. Because my habit right now, or I've been trying to get off of it, is as soon as I wake up, I get on my phone probably for about 20 minutes before I even pray, before I do anything. Mm-hmm. And then after that, it just sets the tone for my day. And I'd say it's probably been that way for a couple months for me now, where if I do that, it kind of makes my day slowly deteriorate, and I end up being on my phone way more. Like, screen time is actually insane.
Yeah. No, I can definitely relate with that. I get up and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to go ahead and write down everything I need to do for the day. But then I jump on my phone to get on Facebook Marketplace or watch a couple YouTube videos. And then pretty soon, you wasted an hour or two in the morning.
Yeah.
Or at least for me, it's like that.
Well, I think the attitude that's going on is you feel like you're being unproductive.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But then you feel like, okay, so this day's starting to feel like it's kind of ruined. And then you just kind of keep on doing it because you're like, well, it's already ruined, or I've already wasted this much time. And you kind of keep on stalling, where you feel really bad and you feel like you need to get off of this, but you kind of just keep on staying there, and you're just digging your pit deeper and deeper for the day.
It's a slippery slope with the phones, because once you get your dopamine hit, once you get a lot of it, you just feel unmotivated to do anything else for the rest of the day.
Yeah, nothing else is exciting. Nothing else is quite as cool.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, but you also feel like I don't know about you, but I also feel like a little bit of a failure as I'm watching stuff and I'm scrolling stuff. It might be like an hour. I've been an hour and a half of just scrolling through random stuff. I'm not going to care about the next day.
Yeah, especially short form content.
Yeah,
it's very,
the dopamine hits.
Yeah, I don't know. I always get like kind of like a depressing like crash if I spend too much time on my phone. I just feel like depressed afterwards, and I'm like, I just want to go take a nap, honestly.
And you know what that makes you feel like? Unmanly.
Yes, it does.
Unmanly. It feels like you're doing nothing with your life, and it makes you feel like a failure a little bit. And my problem is I'll get caught in a loop because I feel like a failure. I continue down that rope, and again, it's just another slippery slope.
It's a drug.
Yeah, it's a drug.
Kind of. Dopamine is a drug.
What's the right word for what is it? It's not an epidemic because that's only like a small amount. A pandemic, I guess. Is that national?
Well, a pandemic isn't
a global pandemic.
That's worldwide, isn't it? Pandemic isn't that worldwide?
I don't know, but whatever it is, we have one of those in this world today
With the
for
phones.
dopamine.
Yes. Yeah, man. How do you? I don't know. How do you get away from that? I've heard psychologists say like if you stay away from your devices an hour after you wake up, that like it starts affecting your brain differently with like the dopamine.
Well, isn't it like an hour before? After you wake up, and then almost like you have to put it down an hour before you go to bed just to help with a sleep schedule, right?
Well, the blue light and
Also, am I moving my mic around too much?
probably.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're going from like here to like here a lot. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm being too rigid like a reporter.
I'm just kind of hoping that, like this distance sounds pretty much the same.
I don't know if you're coming to your face the whole time. It's kind of like you can't really see it. So
I feel like a rapper right
that's why
now.
I kind of just like keep it down here. So like
Yeah, I just don't feel like I'm talking into it.
you're like, hi guys, how you doing?
Yeah. Don't want to make my voice sound worse than it is.
No. But
I guess okay, let's get back on topic though. What do you feel like is the thing that you feel like you should be doing to fix it? What is like the immediate correction to make?
I think social media for me is a big issue. It's super distracting, especially Facebook, like I was saying, Marketplace. So kind of what I weeded out some apps on my phone. Like I got
Just
rid of
deleting them?
deleted them.
Okay.
Like Instagram, I deleted that. And Be Real, I deleted that. I still have Facebook and YouTube, and I'm kind of thinking that I might either delete that or I'm tempted to go back to a dumb phone. Just because
We've talked about that multiple times.
we talked about that a lot.
Eliminate the temptation completely. You don't have
Yeah.
an option anymore.
I made a YouTube video about that. I tried the dumb phone for a month,
Uh-huh.
and then I ended up going on that Oregon Coast trip and I had to fly my drone. So I got my smartphone back because I needed.
Which did that feel like kind of like an easy and like you wanted your smartphone back, and so it felt like it gave you the opportunity to get it back at all, or
Yeah,
not really?
Kind of. I was like, oh yeah, I really need it. This is a good excuse.
Yeah, that's. I think that's just another
I should've-
example of having a slight addiction to it.
Yeah. And yeah, from there it just kind of was back downhill, back to using way too much phone time, and yeah. So
All right.
I think for me, I'm actually seriously considering going back to the dumb phone, especially this winter, because I think I might just be doing a lot of studying and a lot of working out. So
Yeah.
that might be the solution personally for me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for me, this thing I've been thinking about because I do have a smartphone, and I do have a couple excuses why I could keep my smartphone. Very easy ones, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's obviously they're excuses. But my thing is, I think I'm going to be getting rid of a lot of social media, and I'm going to be replacing it like onto my computer, because the effort of actually getting on my computer and doing stuff, I'm hoping will helping me more motivated, first of all, to get work done, and then second of all, it's more difficult. I can't just like in my pocket whip it out and start watching something.
Yeah.
So that's the two things I want to do. I've also thought about going on the dumb phone. I think it's really cool. Me and DJ have this thing of where like, at least I feel like it's starting to head that direction, or more so that if one person starts to do something, it's not that I don't feel pressured to, or I hope he doesn't feel pressured to, but I want to join him. I want that support there for myself,
Yeah,
and I want to
accountability.
give it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one thing we're trying to be, I think, is we're working towards that, being better accountability partners in every facet of life, because we have
Okay.
addiction. So what I feel like would help me personally, I know there's a lot of different ways to do it. The best one would probably just completely getting rid of it, getting a dumb phone, and actually just probably deleting my accounts. So I don't have the temptation to go back to it. There's like this weird ego thing that I have, is because I have 300 followers or I have 200. I don't actually. Trying to make myself good now. I don't know how many followers I have, but I know it's more than if I was just to start out social media,
Yeah.
and I would only have like 15 or 16, and 300 followers is nothing because I follow them all back. But it would be because I have that account, I'm more likely to keep it because I want to see what's going on. I want to stay like quote unquote relevant with people around me. But I think I do need to just delete my accounts.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't deleted it. My original Instagram account, when I went on that whole dumb phone adventure, I did delete it, and
But that was for the content, right? That was for you. Like, did you mention that for your YouTube?
I did mention my YouTube channel on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Instagram for me also was just very dangerous because there was a lot of junk that would pop up on Instagram,
Oh yeah.
and there's just a lot of stuff on there that's just not good.
Clickbait for stuff you don't need.
Yeah, yeah.
Traps.
So that's originally why I deleted Instagram. I do have another account now, my main account, and I now have deleted it off my phone, like I was saying. But I occasionally get on there to see what my friends are doing. But still, there's just so much crap. If you go to the search page and like you're searching something up, you'll just see stuff will like flash in your face. It's just not cool. So
Yep.
I think I need to delete my Instagram. It really bothers me because I went to this conference and I made some friends, and my only way to contact them now is like Instagram.
Yeah, through DM. Yeah.
Through DMs, and so that's really kind of frustrating because I don't know if I'll ever be able to get a hold of them again unless I get DM all of them and ask them for their number.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Which you could do. You could do.
I could do. There's only like maybe 15 of them,
Yeah,
but
that's a lot of friends.
no, that's how many people I friended on Instagram.
Okay.
Not all of them I want to talk to, but maybe
Yeah.
like 3 or 4. But yeah,
I think it's a less effort. It's just something you got to do. But my solution currently that I think I am going to do is if I don't delete my accounts, if I chicken out of that, I say that now I feel like I have to delete my accounts.
I'm a
But
chicken.
let that go as a clickbait. I am a chicken. That actually would be an
He
interesting.
identifies as a chicken, guys.
No. My current thing I'm going to do is I think I'm going to take my social media off of my phone and place it more onto my computer. At least it's more of an effort that I'm going to have to log in. Because the thing about my computer is it actually has a hard time for some reason saving passwords. So my whole thing is if I write down my passwords for the different accounts, it's going to be that whole thing of I have to log into it, I have to get on there. And plus, if you ever watch a reel on your computer, it's not the same.
Yeah.
You don't have that same.
It's not as addictive.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
like less addictive.
It's like your screen's like this big, and like the short's like this
And
big.
there's like white columns on
Yeah.
both sides. You can't focus on it. And I do think almost it gives you a little bit less of a dopamine hit.
I think it does, yeah.
But then another thing is I'm not walking around with the temptation in my pocket. You can't fit a computer in your pocket. And it also it doesn't have cellulitis.
Cellulitis.
The disease. No, cellular data.
So yeah, cellular data.
Maybe that could also be clickbait.
Dude, cellulitis that's not a disease.
I don't know. Just,
Cellulite's fat.
okay, there's two people on this kind of podcast. The smart one and the guy that's reactive.
No,
who's
I
dumb.
don't think cellulite. I was
just
completely
joking.
joking.
I'm joking.
Cellulitis. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think cellulitis is a disease.
If any
I just
smart
made that
people
up.
would ever listen to this, please correct us.
Yeah. Anyways.
No. Anyhow, that's my plan. Just to make it a lot more difficult, it's not constantly in my pocket. Take the temptation out of your pocket. It's also the same thing. It's the same concept with money, right? The idea that you have a card right there that you can just swipe and do it very easily
Yeah. That's
and make it harder.
falling
sure.
prey to that is very easy for me. I recently racked up some credit card bills, and I've had a couple months where I didn't really have enough money in my bank account to cover those payments. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a temptation, and really bites you in the butt fast if you don't know how to pay it off. So
Yeah, and I have actually less of a temptation because I don't actually even have a credit card, but I still figure out how to do it because I have Apple Pay and I just like double click, paid for it, and I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
I actually turned off the notification to my bank account once because it was annoying me,
Yeah.
and that just shows you how much you need to learn how to have self-control. But the other thing for me is when you use cash, you have to give it typically to the lady or the someone at the checkout to do it for you.
Yeah.
Most kiosks or whatever you're using to actually purchase it on don't accept cash anymore. And so you have to actually think about, talk to somebody, and you have to make that decision to go through that effort to purchase that thing. And I'm way less likely to actually purchase it.
yeah, there's more friction.
And I actually see if it actually values me, it has some value to me. I actually did that for I think a week or two, and I did that in my spending. I'd be like, I would get the object, I'd be walking there, I was like, I don't need it, and I would just throw it on a shelf and walk out of the store, or go and do something that I actually originally went to go and get something.
Yeah, I've been doing that lately too. The other night, I saw some macaroni and cheese. It was on sale. It was like the special high protein mac and cheese.
I was there for it.
Yeah, and I was just like, I am trying to save almost every dollar right now. I'm not going to buy anything. So I put it where it didn't belong.
Yeah, he just threw it on top.
I just threw it on
a-
top of some monster cases.
Yeah.
I felt bad about that, just leaving stuff where it doesn't belong in the store. But I was like, I don't need to buy that.
And looking back, actually, in that little thing, I wasn't actually being a very good accountability partner or help because I was pressuring. I was like, DJ, come on, don't be stupid. They'll cover meals for like 3 days or something like that. And I was like, that's a great idea. It was on clearance. But it was the whole concept of like he actually didn't need it. He had food at home. He's taken care of. He doesn't need to do something extra like that.
Yeah.
Even if it's only like $1 for each one or
Yeah.
$2. And that kind of ties into a whole theme of having self-control.
Even though we didn't practice it today. Not really. I mean, at least I didn't. I had 2 hash browns, 2 McChickens.
We don't need to confess to something like that.
I had some McDonald's bulletproof coffee, guys. You want to hit me up on my Instagram? I'll tell you how to make it.
Yeah. Link in the bio to that YouTube video.
Special recipe. But no, that's very rare, by the way.
It starts with the little things, I think, with that specific instance, because obviously us talking about we gave in and we got McDonald's today isn't very relevant. But if we actually talk about how if we need to start making the conscious decision in those little things to say, today I said no, even in that little thing that I didn't need to spend that money. I could have went to the family thing earlier and we had food there.
Yeah, we had this family event that we could have been fed for free. We should have gone there, not wasted. I don't know what $40 in between all of us, something like that. So
Which is not even a ton of money, but it was just that little thing that we knew we didn't need to spend that money, and we still did, just because we felt like it. We had that whim. We're like, we just want to go and get food.
Yeah.
We just want to go and get food.
So
And obviously, getting fed is such a little thing when it comes to being self-control, but it is something that we consciously decided, okay, let's go and do it.
Yeah.
When we didn't need it.
I mean, there's a lot of self-control areas in my life that I need to take control of.
Yeah.
Or exercise more self-control. Sorry, guys.
It's later.
It's late today. We've
But
been running.
I think it's actually a good time for us to be recording, at least for me, because when I'm like, this doesn't need to be in the podcast, but when I am like more awake, I overthink things a little bit.
Yeah.
And when I'm just like this, I'm kind of tired. I'm just talking.
Well, it's weird. I'll have like this peak. I don't know if it's testosterone or I don't know what it
We
is.
hope.
I don't know if it's like just my emotional health. Not emotional health.
Emotional health. He's
What is
hurting,
it,
guys?
What is it, dude? What is it? Dopamine. It's called a. What's it called?
Dopamine crash.
No. What's it called?
Well, we know it's not estrogen.
No. What are those chemicals in your brain called? What's another word for it?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Hormones. Yeah.
Hormones.
Yeah, it's hormones. Yeah. Anyways,
Hormones is all of them, bro.
yeah, I know it's all of them, but I don't know if my hormone cycle is messed up. I don't. Okay, that's that sounds worse. My
Now
hormones.
we are going to clip that, and that
Okay.
will be how we get people
I
to
don't know if
this
my
channel.
hormones are messed up, but around 10 o'clock at night, I just get this high where I just feel super inspired. I feel like electric, energized. Usually it's weird. It's like right before I want to go to bed. And then I can't go to sleep till like midnight. So I'll be pacing the floor, giving myself these like motivational talks. I'll be pretending to talk in the mirror.
Which feel amazing, though, right?
I know you're like, hey guys, like today, I'm going to tell you how to 10x your company. And so here's my personal story. I'll just be sitting in the mirror just talking to myself.
because you see yourself in 15 years being like, okay. Yeah, I do the same thing, but it's built on the whole thing of like you have a schedule and you get in this certain mode late at night, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to go to sleep now. And when I wake up, different life, different me. I'm going to start this journey. And then you're tired, you barely get out of bed, and it starts all over. You get on your phone, and the day begins.
Yeah. And then it starts the whole cycle over again.
Depressed. I am the
Nighttime.
man. I will get absolutely shredded. I'll be reading 3 books a week. Yeah.
Oh. Have you watched much Ty Lopez videos?
No.
The guy that sells. Oh.
What does he do?
You need to pull that up. No. Pull that up, guys. No, we don't have any assistants, so we can't tell them to pull stuff up.
But it could be added at the end of the video. That'd be so much work if you had
Yeah.
to pull stuff up.
Because
when
we'll
you
have to like
reference it.
edit a little off screen, like yeah. But no, anyways, Ty Lopez, he's this funny guy. I shouldn't say funny, but he's like one of the original OG like gurus. He
Okay.
like sold courses and stuff like that. And his original ad, he was walking through his garage and he's like, "Hey guys, look at, I'm in here with my new Lamborghini."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "But do you know what I like more than wealth? Knowledge."
Yeah, I have heard this.
This guy, he cracks me up because he believes in he says that he believes in reading books, but he's like, "Oh yeah, I read a book a day." And he's like, there was a time in his life I think he said he was reading like a couple books a day, but really his
What are these pamphlets?
no like they're full on books. Like he claims to read them, but he calls it speed reading. So basically, he skims through just certain parts of the book and doesn't actually read the whole thing because he believes that
Like Cliff Notes, or where he just looks at the highlights?
He just like we just read certain parts of it, and then he says, "Oh yeah, I read a book a day." But at least that's what I've heard. I've watched a couple videos on him. I've heard him talk. So
Does he still preach that method today?
yeah, he still does. He's like, "Oh, buy my courses," and his courses are basically just regurgitated stuff that he's read from motivational books. Yeah, and
So
so
he's
like,
just copying work.
he's just copying work,
Okay.
knowledge, and it's
How does the system work? If you get in, you get 2 buddies to go in with you, kind of thing.
no, it's like $60 for his course or whatever, or his cheaper ones, and then he tries to upsell you to his more expensive ones later on.
Okay.
But one of the ironic things was he's saying he has a special word, some French word for like a delinquent, somebody that's not smart, not read. And he's like, you don't want to listen to delinquents, people that don't read, people that don't actually study. And he himself is not really that smart. Or
Well,
doesn't actually take
the
time.
statement he's actually saying is true. Obviously, you want to have someone that
Yeah.
knows something.
It's ironic though because basically, if you actually take his advice, you would never buy his course in the first place.
Yeah.
Or ever listen to him because he's not super a well-read person either. It sounds
Yeah.
like, but he's a funny guy. If you
Those
wanna-
kind of people are the new generations are everywhere. We're oversaturated right now
Yeah.
with those kind of people. Listen to me and I will make you successful. And some of them might have some good ideas, but they're also just trying to make money off of you for watching the video, for buying their courses. Hustlers University.
Also, university. I don't know. Was that a scam? I don't know.
I don't know. I think it generally does. Genuinely, I think it does make some people successful, but it's obviously he's also making money off of it.
Well, I mean, he also is a pimp.
Yeah. The person we're talking about is Andrew Tate,
Yeah.
and
If you guys
might
don't-
have heard of him.
Yeah. Honestly, when I first heard of Andrew Tate, I was like, oh, like this guy could be cool. But then, I was talking to Daniel Schneider, one of our friends, and he's like, no, dude, he got famous because he was a pimp. He would basically exploit
Webcam
girls.
businesses.
Yeah. He would find girls that didn't have a whole lot of traffic, and he would basically market them better.
Yeah. This is actually something I think we should talk about is the whole, not necessarily Andrew Tate, but what makes him so successful.
Like
Like
what attributes people like.
what
always-
attribute people like about him. I think it's kind of cool to look into like how he kind of, from our point of view, right?
Yeah.
He'll tell you how he got famous. He'll tell you the system that he worked. But this is our interpretation of how, like when we first saw it, what we thought of him. And I don't know. I think there's a lot of gray area of what people think of Andrew Tate. I think we should give a little bit of our own like idea of what we think makes him work.
When did you first hear Andrew Tate?
Okay, so my first time thing I ever saw of Andrew Tate was a video of him of his theme song, and it's him getting out of a Bugatti, and there's two like girls walk up behind him, and he's walking all cool, and it's like his cars are around him, and he's walking away from them. Just those clicks, and it was just showing Sigma men, Rule 11, and it states the rule.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just thought it was stock photos and stock videos. I'm like, oh, they just have a generic guy to do this. And then he started showing up, and then finally there was a video of him. I think it was Love Island or some old British TV show that he was on, just being absolutely brutal to these people. And he was genuinely actually being a smart person in the clips that I saw. He is a smart person. But, and that's the first time I heard him speak. And then after that, I just kept on seeing more and more his podcast, him saying how you can get money. And at first he was saying a lot of wild things, which it worked. He got famous.
Yeah.
That's how he got there. That's how I was introduced to him.
Yeah. I think originally I just heard everybody talking about him, and like at first I was like, oh yeah, Andrew Tate, like I totally know who that is. I really didn't really know who it was. I think I might have saw like one or two shorts, and I didn't really know who he was or what he stood for. But as time went on, he got more and more saturated on short form content. So
Everywhere.
definitely
Absolutely everywhere.
started running into him probably like what, a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
A year ago?
I think a year and a half ago is where it popped off. Because before that, he was kind of like this nameless person at least.
Yeah.
And no one actually, a majority of people did not know his name. They just were seeing him on there saying crazy stuff.
Yeah. Well, like originally, one of the claims that really I first heard and did not believe at all was he claimed to be like a trillionaire.
Yeah, he says, I am the world's first trillionaire.
And
you don't hear him saying that anymore.
You don't,
obviously,
yeah, you don't. And
because he needed clicks.
Yeah, he needed. Well, no, somebody asked him a question. I think it was what's his face. Remember the little dude that used to hang out with him, the little wimpy dude that smokes pot and.
Oh, Aiden Ross.
Yeah,
I think that was later on.
That was later on.
I think he said, I don't know anything about that, but I think the thing that's how we were introduced to him. And then the second thing is what did he bring?
Who, Aiden or? Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate.
Yeah. What do you mean? What he brought as far as influence or like?
He pointed out the problems of what was he pointed out the problems that were in society.
Oh, as far as people
demasculation, men not being men. Yeah, just another one of those people that are pointing out all the problems with the world and giving their solutions. Mm-hmm. And I think that is currently what that genre or that type of YouTube, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the
self-help people.
Yeah.
That's what is overly saturated right now, is these midlife men are saying, this is how you're going to be successful, this is how you need to run your life, and here's my solutions.
Well, what are we doing right now?
We're not giving solutions. We're just saying they're not doing the right thing because they're not actually following Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a hard one. I don't know. I know some people that really idolize. I feel like they kind of idolize Andrew Tate in a way that I don't think is healthy. And
he's a very smart person.
I don't know. As a Christian, I don't think I can you shouldn't idolize anybody, but I don't think I could ever see myself idolizing Andrew Tate ever, because just his morals were not. Shouldn't say non-existent, but they're just not very high from what I've seen with the whole cam girl thing. And then also, he got the trafficking allegations, which supposedly were all
I don't believe them
fake.
To be true, but
they're all fake, supposedly.
I think I'm just giving my opinion as someone that sees them on social media. I don't think they're true, but
yeah. Well, then, he definitely is not a very moral person.
Yeah. He started out I think he was agnostic, really. Believes there's a God, but doesn't believe he's involved, or maybe he was an atheist. I believe he was an atheist to begin with.
Now he's a Muslim.
And now he's Muslim, and even having Islamic belief does have some moral values, but it's also, you're not truly following Christ, and so you really don't have a moral compass that I care to follow or emulate, or I can respect the things that he says, but you don't respect him as a person, not necessarily his ideas, because I don't believe his morals are correct necessarily.
Yeah.
So that's ultimately where I think he fails. He points out the problem, which is very easy to do. People give him too much credit. People give those kind of people way too much credit because it's way too easy to point out the problems. It's more about, is your solution going to work? And that's usually the way harder thing.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem is he originally said super outrageous things that got him famous, and then you have these young boys listening to this, masculine alpha male, and you have a lot of young men that are.
And we're right in that demographic.
We are right in the
There's people
demographic.
around me that were being like, "Oh yeah, he's totally right," and totally backing him up.
Yeah.
And there was, yeah,
I think a lot of it comes from like I was saying, like they're trying to take masculinity out of our culture, trying to make us more feminine in a way, and I think that's super toxic, actually.
it is super toxic. But what Andrew Tate brought in is he was pointing out the problems, but his solutions to it weren't going to help. They weren't going to help.
Yeah, I mean, originally he said some pretty crazy things about women. That's what usually turned me off. I was like, okay, this guy's crazy. The way he believes in.
You're like, good. Nah, not so much.
No, like everybody. I think the young men looked up to him because like he claims to be. I mean, obviously he is a world champ kickboxer, right?
That's legit. Yeah,
In,
yeah.
In that bracket,
In that league, in that
that
bracket,
league,
he's
or
got
whatever.
skill.
Yeah.
Or skill.
Skill.
He's got some skills.
He has some skill. Obviously, I don't want to fight him. He'd kick my butt.
In a fight between Logan Paul and him, I'm probably taking Andrew Tate currently.
Really?
Yeah, bro. Did you see Logan Paul's last fight, or it just happened yesterday?
Oh, what's his face?
I mean, it was against Dylan Dennis, so you couldn't really show anything. But I don't know.
I don't know. The only clip I saw was the one you showed me, and that looked like Dylan Dennis was just trying to put him in a headlock the whole time.
Yeah. We're getting just talking about culture stuff. We're just trying to talk about what's relevant. Yeah, but I do think he's getting older now. I don't know. Logan Paul just doesn't have that dog in him. Logan Paul doesn't got that dog in him.
I don't know. I don't like Logan Paul.
I don't either.
But he's like the opposite of masculinity in my well.
It's a very worldly version of masculinity,
but
which is not.
It's more of like a playboy kind of like, or not even a playboy. He's just like
He doesn't know what he is. I don't think.
I don't know. He's just like he thinks he's tough. I mean, he's gotten bigger, and obviously he's been in WWE But I don't know. I just think
that doesn't say anything about being a man, though.
It's not.
He's on steroids. He's morals lacking. He has no compass.
Yeah.
He's all over the place. I mean, I think he is the kind of people that you characterize as they're the assigned gender of male, but they're not actually a man, really.
Well, my question is like, why do young men, they don't really look up to Logan Paul, but they look up to like Andrew Tate?
Exactly.
Because Andrew Tate is like,
is he the definition of a true man?
Or alpha male?
Alpha male? No, I think
it's not. But
obviously, this podcast we're trying to focus on what is manhood, how do we become it,
yeah,
and we're trying our best to become it. And right now, we're just giving an example of what our culture thinks manhood is, or maybe even they would call it toxic manhood, which they confuse that with just about anything that's manly.
Yeah, opening up doors for women, that's toxic masculinity.
Yeah. I saw that. I was told that.
And stuff like that. It's
Someone told me.
It's not. Come on. Grow up.
Grow up.
What's that
Be
old
better.
that old man? He like makes fun of like liberals on this channel. I forgot what it is. He's like, "Come on, man. Grow up." I forgot.
Yeah.
It's some old dude. I'll have to find him. But anyways, Andrew Tate.
Next side clip. Yeah.
Edit loading.
I think it's cool. Like, we don't actually honestly know that much about him, but it's what our perception of him was, and then the people that I know around me, what they were taking from, which is the most important thing. What are people taking from you or learning from you? And it was this idea of a certain kind of masculinity. I guess my question is, why is that not true manhood? Like we think that there's something off about it.
Yeah. Well, I think
We don't believe it's true manhood.
a true man doesn't like treat women like that. Doesn't exploit women. Doesn't just take advantage of them. And I think that's taking advantage of them
Because you have power doesn't mean you take it.
Yeah,
or you don't.
well,
use
he
it.
exercised power over them. Like I think he's a very cunning and smart person.
Very smart person.
Like Dr. Jordan Peterson refers to him as a wolf-like character, or actually no, Michaela did. Like she
Her
thinks
daughter,
of-
his daughter. Sorry, his daughter.
His daughter, Michaela Peterson, referred to him as like a wolf, like he has like that kind of personality. Like he's super cunning, super smart,
Which is something you can
and dangerous.
Yeah.
But like that in itself is not bad. Being dangerous, like that's actually a good characteristic to have.
Yeah.
A true man is somebody that's dangerous.
But he protects. He
But
protects
yeah.
what is good.
But he protects women.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So and that the first thing came to mind is just he was exploiting women, and that's not the mark of a true man.
Yeah, and he's changed his tune on that. He's changed it to more different now. He's like, I protect the women around me.
Yeah.
But we're just talking about how he got started and what boys were thinking. Because like I know certain groups that like playing sports, people would reference him and talk about Andrew Tate and like Top G, and it was sometimes very relating to being very demeaning towards women, or just being like, and that's what their idea of being manly was.
Yeah.
Being in the position where you could just say ridiculous stuff and still have a social status, or girls are still going to be okay with you, and we know that's not true manhood, and I think it just stems from what defines you.
Yeah.
You defined what is Christ or anything else.
Yeah, well, like you look at certain Bible characters, like I don't know, David, Joshua, like all those kind of guys. They were warriors. Even like Uriah, dude.
And the Bible documents them making mistakes and falling,
Yeah, of course.
but they had a moral compass.
They had a moral compass, and they were like crazy warriors. Like they were masculine. Like, David, I mean, David is like obviously one of them.
As a
What-
Christian, that's going to come up as an example. Who's a man? A man
David.
after God's own heart.
David.
David.
Yeah, and David has the thing. I think David gets too much crap because like I'd be like, oh yeah, David fell for Bathsheba, but like, well, if you think about it, like, how many times do you commit adultery in your heart with looking upon a woman with lust? Like, personally, I don't think I don't think I have that much room to talk and criticize David for
Yeah.
committing adultery. Like I don't know where I'm going with this, but when you struggle with your own temptation, you have a mote in your eye, you can easily point at some other character in the Bible and be like, I wouldn't have been that person. Like, I wouldn't have been Judas. I wouldn't have been so-and-so. I wouldn't have been Peter. I wouldn't have denied Christ. It's easy to do that. I don't know if you've ever done that.
Yeah,
but, like,
sitting on your couch and you're like, nah.
no, that's not
In
me.
that situation, I make the right decisions.
Yeah.
I'm him.
Yeah.
No. I think something kind of cool about the whole story of David is in that he does some terrible stuff, right? But it sets up something. There's this thing in writing called the Superman effect, where basically your superhero or your main character has no flaws. There's nothing wrong with him. And that's very boring, and that's not relatable in any sense because everybody has to have a flaw. And so I think in the story of David, it's good that that's in there, and people do talk about it, is to recognize that he was a god after he was a god. He was a man after God's own heart. And there was that huge character flaw, that huge thing that he gave in. And we can see that even with that, he was still able to repent and move forward and be a weapon and be a tool for Christ, a tool for God. Obviously, during that time period, it was talking about God, but yeah. They knew that there was a,
I and the Father are one.
yes.
Quotes Jesus.
Yeah, he knew that there was going to be a savior to come.
Yeah.
But he didn't know.
Well, yeah, he definitely talks about it in the Psalms.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I keep on like leading us off to bunny trails. Keep on kind of just we're all over the road on this podcast.
It's okay. I think it's good.
Yeah, I can.
We have this hope to get a couple clips out, right?
Yeah.
And so
We'll send it
I
to
think we
the-
can get one or two out of this.
Yeah, we'll send it through the old AI short generator.
I just want to see what it can do.
Yeah, me too. I don't know. It's such a long clip. It honestly takes a long time.
How long?
Like if you have slow internet, it will literally take like 2 hours.
I'm going to be gone.
Yeah. And then
nice,
let's go to
actually.
McDonald's again.
And give in and buy some stuff.
Yeah.
do you
Watch
think?
some more Top G clips. No. I'm kidding. I don't know. Andrew Tate now I feel like is too saturated. Getting back to Andrew Tate, there's something I wanted to say about that. I think it's that like a lot of
Why are teenagers, young men so driven to that?
I don't know. I think it's
Just people talk about this so much.
I think because
but-
they don't like. Partly it might be like maybe they don't have. A lot of people don't have super good father figures in their life that like inspire them to be a true man.
Yep.
Or like super manly. Like now more than ever, like our population is super obese, and just we're getting more and more feminine. When you look at somebody that's like an extreme and what they consider masculine, like there's different aspects to masculinity, and in some aspects, Andrew Tate is a very masculine person. In
Yes.
certain aspects, like being buff, being ripped, working out, being a fighter, being rich, being like
Understand that he can provide for the people around him, or he has a duty to provide for the people
Yeah.
around him. How he does that, originally, not the
like,
most
these are
ethical,
different
but-
aspects of masculinity, but he does not. He only has like this much of the masculinity. That's not that's not all being a man is about.
It's something you can appreciate, but it's not something that you necessarily I would like respect.
Yeah.
Because like I'm like, okay, you got some of that part, but I almost look at that as easy. I mean, it's not easy at all. What he like those things those character qualities that we can respect in him are not necessarily easy. But when you look at what we feel like manhood is,
Yeah.
doing that stuff, just like I gotta make as much money as possible. I need to be as strong as possible. I just need to win. Mentally, it just seems like a very easy thing.
Yeah.
You're not submitting to Christ. You're not doing you're giving into your lusts. You're giving into your temptations, sexual immorality, all these different things that also make you a very weak man. And so, I don't know. He's got this part of manhood, and it feels like it's not worth a whole lot unless you got the rest. Unless you got Christ, it's not worth a whole lot, which, I don't know. All right, guys, we're going to close out this podcast. I've enjoyed it. I thought it was
Yeah.
a good one. It might not have the most... It's not exactly what I want our podcast to be or our content to be. I want us to be a little bit more prepared.
Yeah.
And I feel like we were kind of going to that thing of where we're trying to give answers.
Yeah.
And I want us to be searching for answers.
Yeah.
And then
On a
discussing what we find.
Yeah. On like specific topics. So, anyways, yeah, we're going to close out. William's going to close out the verse of the day, and then we'll see you guys later.
We'll see you guys later. Okay, so it's Isaiah 55:11. My word that goes out from my mouth will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire. The mission. There's the verse of the day.
That's the verse of the day.
I think it's good for us to close that out. Yeah. Good job, DJ.
Thank you, William.
All right.
Thank you guys for watching.
And this is Mission Manhood. That's good.
We recorded for like over 45 minutes.
Well, we start having a conversation.